What is up, AFC North football fans, and welcome into another edition of the AFC North Roundtable. Week 1 is in the books, and what a wild week 1 it was in the AFC North. 3 nail-biters that we are about to break down here on the AFC North Roundtable. And on the back half of the show, we got to move forward to week 2. We are going to lock in our predictions for the week 2 matchups within the division. That's heading your way right here on the AFC North Roundtable. Without further ado, let's bring in the fellas, Zay, Zim, Mark, and my main man, Sam. Good to see all of you. Especially great to see my man, Sam. I'm glad he came out tonight. He is a soldier. Sam is a soldier. Better man than I. Thought I was going to have to come on this show with my tail tucked between my legs. But Josh Allen said, have a little faith next time. Maybe I should have a little faith next time. Zay didn't. He tuned out. Zim walked away. Everybody thought it was over. We'll talk about that game in a little bit. We'll also talk about Mark and his Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers back to MVP form, 32 points for the Jets, and it wasn't enough. Steelers get it done over New York, but you know where we got to start. We got to start with the battle of the top shelf here. Zay versus Zim, the battle of the forehead, I think it was being called last week. We had a variety of different names for it. This one came down to the very end. It was wire to wire throughout the ball game, as most AFC North games are. But the Cincinnati Bengals, long known for not being able to get it done early in the season, find a way to get it done in 2025 in week 1, 17-16, the final. I think if you were to look at the stat line, Joe Flacco, 290 yards, Joe Burrow, 113 yards. You'd be sitting there saying, wait a minute. Am I in a time machine? You got Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns, looking phenomenal. Joe Flacco just south of 300 yards. He had to have gotten it done. No, 113 yards, and that's all it took for Joe Burrow and company to get the victory in week 1. As always, we'll start with the fellas that weren't involved in this game. Mark, kicking it off to you here first. Bengals get it done by a measly point. It was low scoring like many people in here thought it would be. Give me your thoughts on what you saw in Cleveland as the Browns took on the Bengals this past weekend.
It should be called Battle of the Losers because both teams, like Bengals, Zim's been talking for months and months and months that this offense is super extra and they're going to score a lot of points and this and this. We've got the tight end now, we've got the receivers, all these guys. But I said to you guys last week, the Browns defense were going to show up. And they did. The Browns defense showed up for sure. Myles Garrett, not a fan of him, but he's a really good player out there. Got the sacks and the defense only allowed like 7 yards or something like that, or defense the second half went crazy and off. Joe Flacco gets in the field, interception. Joe Flacco gets in the field, interception. And you missed the kick. How do you miss the kick? 39 yards out. Oh, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have to calm down a little bit. The Browns missed the kick, 39 yards out. And we'll talk about my Chris Boswell soon. The Browns had an absolute, you could have defeated the Bengals, and you would have been sweet 1-0. Zim would have been almost near draft mode, but you missed the kick. I don't know how you missed the kick. I don't know who that guy is, Zylax or whatever his name is. You got to get rid of him. He's cut. That's all I've got to say, really. It's honest to goodness. The Browns played good defense. They held Joe Burrow in contain to where they always play Joe Burrow hard, and you missed the kick, and the Browns defense was playing good. And there you go. I honestly, I don't know how the Browns can be more Browns. Chef Zay wants the Steelers to be the new Browns. Ain't fucking happening. It's not happening.
It really did come down to the leg of Andre. Is it Schmidt? Is that how you say it?
What's his
Andre
name?
Schmidt.
I love the way he spells it. SZMYT. He misses a field goal, a chip shot field goal that could have been all the difference. Also misses an extra point that also could have been the difference. This game ended in a 1-point margin. Sam, I know you know about 1-point margins, man. I gotta stop.
No, you deserve it. Go for it. You deserve it.
This past weekend, You're watching these Bengals, you're watching these Browns. It comes down to the leg of a kicker a couple of times here. Browns had their chance. They certainly did. But the Bengals get it done. Your big takeaway from what you saw against the Browns, or the Bengals against the Browns.
I don't know. It's I try not to overreact to this one because it is a divisional opponent that they're going up against, the Bengals and the Browns. But the Browns didn't have much of a run game. I'm not sure if that's because the Browns just don't have a run game or if the Bengals have a great run defense. Also, the Browns' offensive tackles look terrible in this game. Is one thing that we talked about all offseason heading up to this game. Can they protect Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco still had a pretty decent game. I think he had 209 yards passing, touchdown, 2 picks, which is pretty much standard par for the course for Joe Flacco, I think, this season. Didn't have to give him a chance to win the game, but it'll be very interesting to see how the Bengals look on the edge moving forward, because Trey Hendrickson, we know what he can do. He's just, he was top 5 in terms of pass rush run rate last season, and then Shamar Stewart also looked really good. But again, those tackles of the Browns, I'm not sure if that's just a mirage for what the Bengals can do, if it's really what the Browns are to be expected this season. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do in week 2. But overall, I think it was just an okay game. The Bengals started off slow as usual. I mean, this is just pretty much week 1 where you are who you are. You don't change your stripes. The Ravens aren't really good at closing out games. The Bengals aren't good at starting fast. The Steelers find a way to win games. It's pretty much what we saw from week 1. So I'm not really putting too much negativity into this game. I know it was a pretty much kind of a stinker unless you were a Bengals or Browns fan, but the Bengals do what they have to do to pick up the win. They start 1-0. We'll love to be 1-0 with them. So kudos to the Bengals for getting the job done.
Hey, Z-Bot, come back to me. I'll do some more negativity for it.
Sure, go ahead.
The Bengals are meant to be Super Bowl champions from week 1. All Zimbot's been which one's Z? Zim, there's too many Z's here. Zim's been saying that the receiver's going to go off and crazy. The Bengals have a chance to go out there and beat this team, like smoke them, right? And then they win by 1 point. So I'm really intrigued to see the next 2 guys, Zim and Zay, go at it. But before we do, though, the Browns held the ball. Here's some more negativity for you, for the Browns fans. 35 minutes and they still lose. And they miss the kick. Like, these are the kind of games the Browns teams should win. You run the ball, defense, kick a field goal, get out of there. The whole town in Cleveland Brown Stadium is happy. But they're not. They go, 0-1. It all happens all the time. There's more for
Mark, you're here. You're close. You'll be here soon. Don't worry.
This is so interesting.
You said last year.
This is so interesting.
Let's see how interesting Zay thought this game was, because it was interesting, and I'm sure Zay thinks he should have been on the winning end of this one, and you weren't, Zay. It was this close, and you had the opportunities, didn't cash in. But what did you make of the game? What were your big takeaways from what you saw from the Browns against those Bengals?
The winner should go first.
You got to save the best for last.
No.
I mean, it don't matter to me. I'm just saying,
it does.
It depends on what type of Zim I'm getting. I don't know what type of Zim I'm getting, and that's the thing. I think I know. But it's like, as somebody who I respect in the football world, and somebody who I know knows ball, for him to act like an average Bengals fan, I'm a little disappointed in him, and I expect higher of him, especially coming from a win that good and well you had no business winning. But we're not making no excuses. That's my thing. But for, like I said, somebody who I respect, who I know is a ball knower, for him to want to sit here and try to flex his muscles like all this other stuff, like it was a great win when he came on here talking about, it's just the money. We got all this money on offense, and they come out with Joe Burrow 113 yards and your $2 trillion pass catchers combined for 5 catches for 59 yards. That's not nothing to be proud of. Like, it would be one thing if y'all came out here and beat the dog piss out of us. I would have the floors them. It's all you, boo-boo. But this is something that's above you. You are way above the petty classlessness that these Bengals fans are displaying. So that's why I wanted you to go first, because I wanted to make sure that I'm like, I know Zim is better than what he gonna do, and I just didn't want you to fall down that pit. So I'm kind of disappointed that Z-Bot is giving me this spot first, because I don't want to alter how you gonna come at me. I want you to do you, but I just wanted to go in there with that. Now, in terms of the game.
Hold on. Listen, you're disappointed in me. Let's give it to Zim then. Let's let him set the stage. I mean, you look like you're underwater right now anyway, so let's let Zim.
I'm ready to tell you how I feel. Can I finish? You gave me the floor.
Listen, you said you were disrespectful. You said you didn't want the floor. You sure you want it?
No, you gave me the floor. I gave you what I now
okay. Let me give the floor.
I walked away from this game. I walked away from this game encouraged. All right? Like, when you talk about what I watched from this game, this was the most vanilla offense I have seen in such a long time that actually was working. Like, there was areas in this game where Kevin Stefanski and other times has just fell behind or not played up to the level that he should have. And when you see Joe Burrow and them come out in that first drive and just carve up our defense with the run game, and they have this 7-8 minute drive, I'm thinking to myself, damn, this is going to be one of them games. If we don't respond on this next drive, it's gonna get tough. He comes back and responds with a 10-minute drive and then puts up points. So then it's like, okay, can he do it again? And next thing you know, before we can even get to that, the defense comes in and just locks up everything. So I'm so encouraged when I look at the stat sheet in the box score and I see Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku really didn't have much of a factor in the game, and they leaned on the rookies. Q10, he going to be back soon. So the run game that we saw this past week is definitely not going to be what we saw. It's clear they are in desperate need for a power back running back, and that will make this offense go even more. And the key to put all of this thing together, Joe Burrow looks like he can run this offense the way that it needs to be ran. The 2 interceptions that he had was definitely not on him. And anybody that wants to say that it was on Flacco is just
Joe Burrow.
Or did I say Burrow?
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Flacco,
Don't ever make that mistake again.
I mean, 113 yards, my bad. You would have thought that was Justin Fields and Steelers. But anyway, and then when you talk about the defense, I mean, when you got Myles Garrett at this point, we should have just gave him whatever he wanted. $50 million at this point. He might be worth $50 million. Plus the young stud Carson Schwarzenegger, Isaiah McGuire called his sack. Like, there are a lot of things. Oh, and by the way, it's crazy how we sitting here bickering back and forth about this player and that player and all of this stuff between Browns fans. Joe Burrow said that the best tandem in the league is Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward. So put a little bit of respect over here in Cleveland. Obviously, Browns was the Browns. Y'all right. We fucked up. But at the end of the day, we're not going to sit here and act like this was some glorious win where we should be tooting our own horn, because it wasn't that. If it would have been a blowout, you would have had all the right to do it.
All right. The bigger man sets the stage. It's time for Johnny on the spot to take the podium, give his thoughts. And I got a feeling he's not loving what he just heard.
I didn't know in the NFL you get style points for wins. Like, is that like a rule change or something that changed up or something that I hadn't heard before? Because this is the first time I'm hearing like there are wins that like give you more points or something like that. Let me ask you this, Zay. Who do you think, I didn't hear you mention Trey Hendrickson when you brought out like the Myles Garrett thing.
Because he didn't have the same effect.
Hold on, but let me ask you this. Do you feel as though Myles Garrett had a better game than Trey Hendrickson?
It doesn't
matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think. God damn it. Trey Hendrickson was in that shit cooking. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit you were talking about.
He was.
At the end of the day, let me tell you about this game. A lot of y'all talked about box scores after box score. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell you. Hey, you had your floor. Get your ass off the floor. It's my turn.
Go ahead, boo boo.
At the beginning of this conversation, when we went into this whole AFC North, we went into the all season and all this shit. It was always about the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense ain't do nothing. I'm very, very shocked to hear Marcus over here with the highest paid defense that just gave up 32 points talking to me about defense. Let me tell you about the Bengals defense this past Sunday, while everybody's over there glazing because y'all want to give credit to the team that you don't feel as though is a threat. Y'all know the Browns ain't shit, and that's why y'all want to give them credit because you have empathy for them. Let me tell you about the Bengals defense this past Sunday after I heard for a whole 6 months that the Bengals defense wasn't going to be anything. The Bengals went the whole entire game with 7-man box the whole entire game, didn't allow over 50 yards rushing. The Bengals didn't allow over 4.2 yards per play in the whole entire game. You damn right Joe Flacco had 280, 290 if they're throwing the ball 40 damn times. He averaged 4.2 yards a play. They only averaged 2 yards in the rushing game. The Bengals didn't load up the box. The Bengals were the least blitzing team in the National Football League. The Bengals also, on top of them being the least blitzing team in the National Football League, ended up being one of the teams at the top of the league in pressures for week 1. In fact, PFF gave them the number 2 rated defense in all of football this past week. The Bengals didn't blitz, and they got pressure. Trey Hendrickson had a 42% pass rush win rate. Shamar Stewart, who Zay was making fun of all off season about the contracts and all that other shit, 28%. We was on your ass the whole damn day. Myles Garrett, I give him all the respect in the world. No problem giving Myles Garrett respect. ultimate player. We chipped his big ass all week and he ain't do nothing. He had one series that he had 2 sacks consecutively. For most of the game, he didn't do anything outside of stop Joe Burrow on 3rd down on a scramble. Outside of that, little to none pressure, wasn't phasing nothing. Would I be a fool to say that Myles Garrett isn't that dude? Yes, he's that guy. He's 100% that guy. But Trey Hendrickson was that guy on Sunday. And we proved to a lot of people that said our defense wasn't going to be shit. We're not going to talk about what Mark talking about. The offense didn't do what they were supposed to. Like, we're going to talk about your team in a second. I don't care what the offense did week 1. Moving forward, I don't think anybody's going to have a question about the Bengals offense, are we? So we're not going to glaze and celebrate the fact that the Bengals offense didn't do much on week 1. We're not going to go into that, right? Because at the end of the day, isn't it more encouraging that the Bengals, it should be very scary for a lot of people in division, in a game against a tough opponent, right? Because you told me you were tough. You don't think that it's kind of crazy that the Bengals actually pulled off a victory and Joe Burrow did nothing? That's crazy to me. Because that means that means that moving forward, that if Joe Burrow does something, a lot of people are in trouble. If I'm able to win a game and my defense and my offense did absolutely nothing, 7 yards or whatever it was, I walked away from the game encouraged. I don't think that you're encouraged on anything. I think that you played the best defense.
Maybe our defense.
Hey, you had your floor. You had your floor. I think that you had your best defensive effort that you'll probably have all season, and you still lost. And you walked away on 1. All season last year, I ain't come on this show not once and complain to Sam about no damn missed 2-point conversion. I ain't complain to him about no missed. I didn't complain about no missed field goal. I hear Marcus over here talking about, oh well, if the kicker would have bias anyone. They're literally showing y'all their bias in real time. He's talking about the Browns should have made the kick. He ain't come on his show and talk about the Bengals should have made the kick when we had a chance to go beat the Ravens twice last year. He ain't come on the show and say that he didn't say right. But you never did that last year. But you over here slurping the Browns off, talking about they should have made a kick. I'm gonna tell you, it's true for the Bengals. 8 games last year. The Bengals last year had the most one-score games in all of football. They were never blown out, and they were in close games, and you never once came on the show and talked about if y'all would have made a kick, because you're scared of the Bengals, and I saw it in your eyes, Mark. You're scared of the Bengals. And Zay understands for the next 17 weeks, he can't say shit to me because you don't get a chance to get your game back. You don't get a chance to get your lick back. That was your chance. In fact, let's just remind the people really quick.
I think the Browns are destined for a 2-0 start, and what happens after that is past me. I'm calling my shot now. They're going 2-0. Joe Burrow's got the perfect storybook start to a season, and familiar face and Bengals. We're gonna spoil Sam's little home 30-year thing next week, and then when you want to talk shit about the Browns after that, we can go ahead and do that. But first 2 weeks,
you don't need to worry about next week. You don't need to worry about next week.
He already looking past you right now.
You don't need to do that.
I'm already looking past you because I already know.
Yeah, he was looking past the Bengals, and there's your L.
Zim is the little sister that gets the toy after it was not already popular, when the popular kids get it, and then the little sister finally get it, and he'd be like, well, I got the toy now. You guys don't like it the way that I like it. Nobody give a damn about the 1-point victories you didn't get. You always looking to play victim. Enjoy your win. But this is not a win that Zim should be going over the top with, like y'all did something crazy.
What?
I shouldn't be encouraged about this. Yeah, you played one of the best defenses in the league, it looks like. That's what you should be scared of, because if we get this thing right and you let a 40-year-old throw for 290 yards and you hyped about a rookie not
check downs
2.3 yards per carry and a Jerome Ford who y'all claim shouldn't even be in the league, you hyping up that y'all stopped that run game. Congratulations. You didn't stop Derrick Henry. You didn't stop Nick Chubb or any of those guys. You stop guys that you guys say are bums. So at the end of the day, you're proud of beating up bums. Congratulations. But when the defense, the dogs came out there and stepped up, now it's, we didn't play our best game on offense. That's what I'm encouraged about. Joe Burrow, you talk about Mark scared. Joe Burrow scared of the Browns defense. That's why we keep getting so much respect from him. Maybe you should get a little bit of respect for the defense too, seeing as though the guy making $200-something million is showing the respect like it ultimately deserves.
It's kind of fun watching him while it's muted. It really paints the picture of the animosity. Zim, you're on mute.
You hit it right on the nail. You say you guys are bums. You say you guys are bums. Yes, you are a bum in your own one. There you go.
I got you one.
Listen, let's talk about the main point here, right? And I think that both of you are looking at the angle of the Bengals finishing this game with 141 total yards in different ways, which I think is interesting. Zay's looking at it, Browns defense dominant, we blew this one. Zim's looking at it, saying the Bengals finally win a game where Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and company don't have to be Superman for 60 minutes in order to win a game. This is where it's interesting because you can look at it on both ends. Zay, now that you saw Zim, you see, like, he set the stage now, right? You came out, he comes back out. What do you think about the fact that the Browns, because the point that he makes is interesting. What do you make about the fact that the Browns do hold the Bengals to 140 yards? They might not hold a team the rest of the year to that low amount. I mean, that is about as low as you can possibly have in the league. And they didn't win. Does it feel like a demoralizing loss for Cleveland, or do you feel like there's way more to build on upon that loss?
Bro, I've witnessed way more demoralizing losses than that. I go back. I made a video about it the other day. The 2002 home opener to Kansas City, where we had the game won and Dwayne Rowe threw his helmet while the play was still going on and we lose because half the distance to the goal. That kicker was the oldest kicker in the league, and we lost on some bullshit like that. I was 9 years old. I've seen way more demoralizing stuff than that, and we gave up 37 points that day. This is very encouraging because no one. If you would have told us that Joe Flacco came out and threw 290 yards and our defense did what they did and we lost because our kicker. Like we talking about our kicker. This is the same type of way that y'all looked at me when we beat the 49ers. You guys lost because Jake Moody went wide left. It's the same exact thing. One thing went our way, one thing didn't. It's the margin for error in this league that you can't have. And unfortunately, the Browns are cursed, and we are always on the other end of it. The only end we haven't been on it is 2023.
I just want to point out that everyone told me that the Bengals defense was cheeks for 6 months. The Bengals pull out a stellar performance on defense, and there's no credit for that. I just think that is a wild state of affairs. This is literally after they did everything that y'all said that they weren't going to do. So every single time that y'all tell me that the Bengals won't do something like sign all of their players, and then we go sign them, then you tell me how bad the defense is, then I cook your ass up. You didn't, because you said bro, crazy.
The defense wouldn't, and it was the opposite. So
when we look at the cumulative effort of the Bengals offense, it's going to be a top 5, top 3 offense in the NFL.
But week one they weren't.
But week one they got a dub and you got an L.
Okay, but that's not what you just said. So I'm referring to what you just said.
Right, but the conversation was the defense. Do not move. Stay right there. The conversation was the defense. You told me that the defense wasn't going to do anything. You told me that you were going to have run game success. You didn't. You ran for 2 yards a carry.
Going to do something. You drunk?
You said that your run game was you were going to run and you were going to dominate up front. You did not. The Bengals dominated up front. Trey Hendrickson had more success than Myles Garrett than all those dudes. It was Shamar Stewart with the pressure after you made fun of Shamar Stewart. They ain't shining him and all this other stuff. These were the guys that impacted the game. These were the guys that came out there and beat you up front, and we played the game that you wanted to win. I mean, the style of game that you wanted to play, and you lost that way. So what do you think is going to happen in the next step when the Bengals then turn on their offense as well? I told y'all that the defensive line had improved. I told you that all these different things had changed, but nobody wanted to listen to me. And you're going to say, oh, well, that was just the Browns. But that's not what you told me before the game.
Telling us how good this team is instead of playing defense. Like, talk, be Zim.
Isn't defense a part of football?
There's no. Oh, come on. Oh, this guy.
Well, Zim, let's build on this a little bit because it is
what?
We do know how great this offense is for Cincinnati, but these numbers are crazy. 95 passing yards, 46 rushing yards, less than 3 yards per play, despite the victory. Is there any element of concern within you at all, or is this just an aberration? We'll get back to prime Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins next week.
As a Browns fan, I'm telling you, it's nothing to be worried about. Zim don't even have to answer that. This is the Browns. This is what we're missing. We're missing the credit for the Browns defense. We know what this offense is. We know they start off slow every single 2 weeks, every single year. This is not new, but everyone talked about the Browns not being this. Oh, they're 31st ranked in defense here. They're going to be this, and here. And then they come out and hold this team to what they did. So it's like, give the defense the credit. That's all I'm saying.
We could give you credit, but you didn't win. So That's the difference. But so let me ask you this though. Wouldn't you say you're talking about what we know? Wouldn't you say that the Browns always give the Bengals problems?
We did give you problems, did we not?
I'm asking you a question straight up. Don't move. Didn't we say before this game that the Browns always get the Bengals? So now victory lapping the fact that the Browns in division give the Bengals give them problems. Who cares? You still lost. We already knew that.
Discredit that you're trying to discredit the
defense.
No,
I'm not. Great defensive effort. You're trying to slurp off yourself and give yourself a nut job trying to talk about what you did in a losing effort. One thing that I didn't do, and everybody can say that they can hate Zim and they can hate the Bengals, but never once have I ever came on this show and came in here and stood up tall and said, man, we sure did put up 30-something points this week. Bro, we're so incredible. I never did that. I would come on the show and I would take my L like a man. You over there taking your victory laps on your bum ass losing and being 0-1 is disgraceful. Lap. It's disgraceful. You're not a representation of Ohio and you're not a representation of the AFC North. And I don't want to have anything to do with that. Well, that is scummy AFC North behavior. Yeah, okay. When we lose games, we take them on the chin. And anybody that loses to me, you better take it on the chin or you will suffer the same fate as Zay. Zay should have took off that goddamn hat. You should have hold up. You should have manned up, took that hat off, rubbed that big ass forehead, and saw into the future. You should have saw into the future what was coming your way. Let this be an example. Marcus, you're next. Marcus, you're next.
I don't care if I'm next, first, or last, mate. All this talk for a missed field goal the Browns should have won. That's crazy.
Oh, he should have won it. They should have won it. Imagine the Bengals missing a field goal and then coming on a show and then telling you that if we would have missed a field goal. Get out of here, bro.
You had your floor, bro. Let's just calm down a bit. You know, we're just sitting here patiently. Honest to goodness, from an outsider's perspective, two Ohio teams go at it. You both had great defenses. You're going hammer and tongs, hitting hard. Everyone's hitting hard, right?
Hammer and tongs.
Came down to the fact, right? Let me just calm down the panel a little bit. Came down to the fact that 4 minutes ago, you had a 36-yard chip field goal to pretty much win the game and probably seal it. The Browns fucking miss it, and now the Bengals act like they're all high and mighty and 1-0, and we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh my god!
This is a good win, but the Browns should have won this game. To be honest,
y'all just trolling me. You got to be trolling me.
That's right. It's absolutely right.
You never come on this show. The Bengals lost 8 close games with the same fate. The Bengals missed 5 games with field goals. You never once came on this show and said, "Oh man, if you would have made a field goal." You're gaslighting. You're trolling me. You're trolling me. I'm not falling for this. You're trolling me.
AFC North Week 1 recap. It doesn't say 2024 recap, does it? It's fucking this year, mate. The Browns had a chance to win. You're acting like this is a superstar win. It's a good win. It's 1-0. It's fantastic. Ohio football.
We're going to get into your game next. We're going to get it. Let's get can I get it? Can we get into the highest paid defense in the NFL? I'm going to cook your ass next. You're next, Marcus.
So much time in Ohio. Me and Sam are getting bored over here listening to two Ohio teams never done anything in the NFL.
You won't get bored when I play you. You won't get bored when we play you.
The Browns, to me, should have won that game, but they missed a field goal.
Of course you feel that way. By as much?
Well, Zim, you got a golden opportunity coming up here, by the way. I mean, you can say the Jets could have won that game 10 different ways, too. We'll get to that in just a second. I'm sure you'll probably want to dive into that. We'll first dive into a super chat from RVA Raven fan. He's saying, damn, Zim, I almost crashed driving home. If I wanted to hear yelling like this, I'd watch NFL Network.
Are you saying it sounds like he's saying I'm talented enough to go on NFL Network. I appreciate that.
That's how I read it. Also, I've never heard quite the pitch that you reached on NFL Network, so you might even be doing better than the folks over at NFL Network. We got a couple other games to recap, plus games to predict, so we got to move forward. But, gentlemen, hell of a battle in week 1, and this is the stage that has been set, not only by Zay and then Zim and then Zay again and then Zim again. It's the stage that was set in the AFC North. It doesn't get better than that week 1 battle. Before we get into the other games, my friends over at RotoWire, got to give them a shout out. You used them for your draft, of course, getting into fantasy football, getting your team assembled. But now that you have the team assembled, it's time to get out there and win the game with the team that you have built. The best way to do that is using the variety of fantasy tools on RotoWire, including one of my favorites. It's the NFL Strength of Schedule for fantasy football. You click on this tool, and you can look at the strength of schedule for every position on your fantasy team: quarterback, running back, wide receiver. And what this will do is it'll essentially tell you what matchups favor each position. That way you can determine who you should start based on who they're playing. Take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, of course, though, because the Dolphins apparently have the number one easiest strength of schedule. Tua does. And after what we saw on Sunday, you might want to steer a little bit clear of that. But then again, you do have the Bills right there at number 5. You have the Jets, who looked incredible under Justin Fields. We'll get to him in a second. Justin Fields put up crazy fantasy numbers. So this is pretty spot on. And of course, I see Joe Flacco there. How about number 2, Joe Flacco, just under 300 yards, over 40 years old in his week 1 start. So this tool's on there and a variety of others. Take advantage of it using the promo code RTS over on RotoWire. That'll get you a 15% off discount on a premium subscription over at RotoWire. Link in the description below. Also, while you're down there, head on over to Swivel. The link's in the description below. You click Swivel, you'll log in. And once you log in, you are basically given a hub to Roundtable Sports right within Google Chrome. It's an extension. So every YouTube video, every tweet, every Instagram post from Roundtable Sports is all in one hub. And there's no need to go to any other platform. It's all in one place. So that's down in the description below as well. All right, we beautifully recapped Browns Bengals. Let's move on to the next great game Sunday afternoon this past weekend. If you would have told me waking up Sunday morning, getting amped for week 1, that the highest scoring game of the day until the Sunday nighter, which we will of course get to in a little bit, was going to be Pittsburgh, New York, 34-32, the final at MetLife, and Rodgers gets his revenge, and he made sure the Jets organization knew it afterwards, dumping a little bit of salt in the wound. And Rodgers deserved it. 22 of 30, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, 83 yards in his Steeler debut. On the other end of things, Justin Fields looked as good as he ever had. 16 of 22, 218. Breece Hall over 100 yards on the ground. And Garrett Wilson had a monster day through the air. 95 yards, a touchdown. What really helped propel the Steelers in this win was one of the crazier catches you'll see all weekend that wound up allowing the Steelers to continue on throughout the end of the fourth quarter there and win the game. This was a wild one. 34-32. Once again, the final. Pittsburgh wins it. Sam, I'll start with you here. This had to be a shock. Not that Pittsburgh won, but the fact that they won 34-32. Rodgers looks like he's back. What was your big takeaway from the Steelers taking on the Jets?
Steelers, man, how do I say this without sounding like a hater? Rodgers didn't look that great. He looked, I mean, the stats are the stats, right? He threw 4 touchdowns. Man, he looked old. He looked old in the pocket. Everything that I loved about Rodgers in Green Bay did not show in that game. He looked like when he was under duress, he couldn't escape. He had the pocket presence, but I felt like his body wasn't doing the job that his mind wanted to do. So that's discouraging if I'm a Steelers fan. But what is encouraging is that this guy, Aaron Rodgers, is enough to help this Steelers team win a championship if the defense gets its act together. Kind of similar to the Bengals. If the Bengals, defense plays the way they did or comes close to what they did against the Browns, and we all know what the Bengals offense can do, then they're going to be a problem. Same thing with the Steelers. If the defense gets their act together, we know that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback that is good enough to win a championship. They don't need a quarterback like Joe Burrow to win. They don't need one like Lamar Jackson. I think Aaron Rodgers, his veteran presence, being able to, deliver the football at times, being able to decipher what the defense is doing is enough. He's not going to be a top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback, superstar QB, even though it was nice to see, a little bit of what he was capable of in the past. But I think that Aaron Rodgers is enough to help this team win. Very concerning if you're a Ravens fan. Obviously, they only win by 2 points. You still have problems stopping the run. So if you're a Ravens fan, you're encouraged by that. But at the end of the day, Mike Tomlin gets this team ready to win every single week. He's going to get this team ready no matter what. He's not going to have the problems that John Harbaugh has, which we'll get into later in the show, I'm sure. But overall, I'm very impressed with the Steelers overall. Didn't really like what I saw from Aaron Rodgers as far as being that top-tier quarterback, but the end result means that he doesn't have to be a top-tier quarterback to win. They just get the job done.
He certainly was enough on Sunday. Ironically enough, the marquee element of the Steelers, the defense, they almost weren't enough, allowing 32 points to Justin Fields in his Jets debut. Zay, what'd you make of the Steelers taking on the Jets?
Kind of like what Zay, dang. Going at it.
A lot of Z's in here.
Kind of what Sam said, like, man, it's the one thing, maybe y'all close, Mark. Don't get it. I appreciate you coming to the rescue today, head ass. But, like, y'all close to be real. But, no, like, if the Steelers get any type of competent quarterback play, that's the one thing they don't need right now. Like just being a hater from the outside, because you mix that with Mike Tomlin and the experience of Aaron Rodgers, the chip. See, Aaron Rodgers is that arrogant type of douche that would want to prove you wrong and want to make you eat your stuff. And Mike Tomlin feeds off that type of stuff. So I'm not gonna go too overboard yet. We talk about like how me and Zim went back. We talk about things that we already know. How many times have we seen the Steelers start the season out and do things that we are surprised at, only for them to crumble the same way that they've been crumbling? So I'm not gonna go overboard with it, but it is a little concerning to see Aaron Rodgers throw for 4 touchdowns. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, right? The Steelers, all they need is a quarterback that can take them over that edge. They haven't had it in the last several seasons. We saw it in week 1. It was wild, though, to watch the defense not live up to what we expect of them, especially against a team where you figure they don't have the offensive firepower to be able to deliver. But the Jets did. Still wasn't enough. Zim, your takeaway here. Are you threatened by the Steelers' offense? Are you concerned about their defense? Are the Jets for real? What were your takeaways from the game?
I took away that Mark told me before this game that the Jets weren't a real threat to him, that they would handily knock them out, take them out, wasn't thinking that they would score a bunch of points or anything like that. What if I told you guys, he said they wouldn't score. What if I told you that the highest paid defense in the National Football League gave up 400 total yards, gave up over 150 on the ground to Breece Hall? What if I told you that they also had time of possession almost by a whole 10 minutes also on top of that? I don't think you would probably believe me, because this is supposed to be a Steelers defense that I came on the show and I said, for these guys to get paid this amount of money, I just don't see where this superstar terrible towel, steel curtain up front, I just don't see where that's at. I'm not saying that they won't have success throughout the season. They might very well play really good in division against my Cincinnati Bengals. But for a team that has the highest paid defense in the National Football League, to give up 400 yards to Justin Fields-led Jets, like, come on. Mark just a second ago said, if it wasn't for the Browns making a field goal, we're gonna take away the whole entire game. Well, if it wasn't for Boswell bailing you out and hitting a 60-yard field goal, you would have took a loss to a team that most people don't think will even win 7 games. You almost lost, give up a gang of yards. Garrett Wilson had his way, Breece Hall had his way, and Justin Fields had his way. He outperformed you throughout most of the game. TJ Watt, for a guy that got $123 million, $100 million guaranteed of hush money, because I was told that Trey Hendrickson got hush money, all right, on the show before. We're going to do a show on financial literacy. I'm not paying a dude that has never won a playoff game $100 million guaranteed. 30 years old, $100 million guaranteed. Everybody write this down. TJ Watt has never won a playoff game. He did not register a sack. He did not register a tackle for a loss. He did not register anything but one whole pressure. You paid $100 million, got packed up by a rookie tackle, and had one pressure in a full football game where you played over 50 snaps. That's my takeaway from the game. How you doing, Mark?
How are you doing, Mark?
TJ had 2 tackles for a loss and then a pass deflection. So let's just
All right, I was incorrect. I'm sorry on a tackle for the loss, okay. But you had no sack. You had one play.
I think.
Matter of fact, last time he played the Bengals, you know that he didn't register a sack, a tackle, a pressure, or anything. 60 plays. I looked it up, Mark.
Well, last time. That's all right. I reckon Zim might be like a fucking tax accountant now. He's got that many receipts. He's got receipts out the yin yang, mate. He goes back all the way to 1996 or something like that. I will grant you this. I did say Steelers win 27-0. Jets were a very tough team. Our defense, they should be making everything that Zim said is correct. Pittsburgh Steelers fans know that our defense was not good in this game. The D line is very suspect. Cameron Hayward looked like he was, he couldn't breathe right out. There wasn't a condition well enough for it. They were getting beat up on the O-line from the Jets O-line, pushing them back. Like, the Jets O-line is a really good, they're forceful, man. They ran all over us. They ran 183 yards. Like, that's where we suffered for sure. As Steelers fans, we love this win being 34-32. At the same time, though, we're a bit like, hang on, what the F's going to happen? Why aren't we playing defense like we should be playing in the secondary? I thought that Ramsey played a good game. He locked down 5 near the end, made a – by the way, if you go and watch any tackle, it's Ramsey on Garrett Wilson, 5-on-5. He knocks him out, clean hit, ball comes out. That's a perfect like form tackle to have. But Zim is right. With the defense was not there. They allowed 32 points for an all-star team like that, highest paid defense. They have to do better. They need to do better. And yes, this is what the difference I was trying to say with Zay and how they missed a field goal in the Browns, the 39-yard or whatever. Chris Boswell comes out there money and does save the day. So this was some promising signs because Aaron Rodgers comes into the game, leads the NFL, by the way, in touchdowns with 4, even though one touchdown was a pop pass to fucking Jonnu Smith, so it looked like a Mahomes touchdown, what they would do. But he's leading the NFL in touchdowns with 4. He did get sacked a lot. Our offensive line is a big issue from Broderick Jones to Fartell on the other side. They were getting beat up all over the shop. They allowed 4 sacks. He's not as mobile anymore. So if they can figure those things out, they can definitely, I think, make some noise in the AFC North. But the big thing was our defense. They struggled. They really did. You can't allow the 182 yards. Also, they allow the many yards against the Ravens in the playoff game. So those problems still exist. But the good thing is they won the game 34-32. I did not expect the Steelers to win 34 points. I did not like 27-0 was a bit of a laugh take, really. I maybe thought, 17-7 or something like that, 17-14. Jets showed up. It was Fields' comeback day to revenge game, and they were all pumped up, and they just couldn't get the job done, unfortunately. But the Steelers came out there. Chris Boswell, Wizard Ball, 60 yards. He's the third in the NFL right now. Third all-time, 87%, 88% kicker in the league. He's one of the best, if not the best in the league right now. So, but Zim is right, and I will give him the credit, right? As much as he was yelling, it hurt everyone's ears, right? I'll give him the credit.
I apologize for my mic volume.
The defense, mate. Well, I'm sure. Like you probably love that shit because the defense sucked, right? I know you do.
I had a ball.
I know you do. And we are just like, oh, hang on a minute. They need to figure it out, right? Just like your offense right now. But hopefully in time it comes. But you just can't let that happen because if we lose that game, I'm probably hiding under the table if the fucking Jets beat us in week 1. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy we got the one win.
Especially if it goes exactly like I called it, right? Well, on the kick, like how nervous were you that I almost called it to a T?
We have a lot of faith in Chris Boswell, yes, but I always pray for the Wizard Balls, but I'm still a 60-yarder is a 60-yarder, right? You don't know what's going to happen. So we missed that kick. That's pretty much over. I had a certain point in my mind as a Steel fan, this is crazy. I was like, the Jets have the ball. We can't stop them. So when have I ever said that? On my live stream, I've never said that in my life. The Jets have the ball. We can't stop them. It was crazy how things turned out, but I'm just happy with the 34-32 win and go next week. But our defense needs to play top 10, not even top 5 at the moment.
Absolutely unreal game that finishes on the leg of the legend Chris Boswell. Gets it done for Pittsburgh, a 60-yarder. It's got to feel nice, Mark, going into a situation like that, knowing you got a guy that can nail it in that type of pressure moment, and he does. Steelers get it done. They improve to 1-0. All right, let's go to one of the greatest games you will ever see. Sunday Night Football.
Ready, Tim?
Live from Buffalo. Just an absolute absolute insanity, really. I'm still speechless over what we witnessed in Orchard Park on Sunday night. 41-40, the final. The Bills improved to 1-0. The Baltimore Ravens somehow fall to 0-1, despite Derrick Henry having 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 rushes of 30-plus in a single game, the first time he's ever done it. Zay Flowers, a career high in receiving yards before the end of the third quarter. Lamar Jackson making one of the most insane plays you'll ever see, escaping pressure, getting a first down that seemed to ice it. Derrick Henry takes it the distance the next play, but it was all for naught. Josh Allen ends up winning the AFC Player of the Week on the back of a 16 out of 21, 269 total yard, 3 touchdown fourth quarter that resulted in a 15-point comeback with less than 4 minutes remaining. I still can't believe what we witnessed, but that is what we witnessed. Crazy, crazy game on Sunday night. Zay, I know you weren't able to catch all of it, but after you've heard everything that's happened, the Ravens falling in a fashion that you can't fathom, and knowing that this has happened before with Baltimore, is there a sign of concern in these big games for Baltimore, or is this just a week 1 slide?
Well, I'm cannot wait to hear what Sam has to say, because I watched his 4-minute video where he basically rips John Harbaugh a new one without actually ripping him a new one. And it was weird to hear a Ravens player give that side, because it's, especially for just knowing how they lose games, and they do it consistently over and over and over. When does it come a point where you do have to bring a new voice in to eventually get you over the hump? Like, does the message become stale at some point? Because one time it's okay, 2 times, yeah, maybe 3, but this is like a history, according to Sam, of them blowing leads like this. So there has to be something there, and there has to be a real reason. But I think the big takeaway of this, like, remember when I told y'all Josh Allen is like Miami 2012 Bron Game 6? Like, y'all think I'm crazy now? That Josh Allen is him.
He was him on Sunday night. He comes off the MVP. He looked like it on Sunday night. Really, both these quarterbacks did. It doesn't get better than what we witnessed at the position on Sunday night, the back and forth. The difference really not necessarily Lamar. It was the Ravens defense coming out of nowhere, where in the beginning it looked like they were as good as we hoped they would, or not I would hope they'd be, but I'm sure Ravens faithful hoped they'd be. And then in the second half, things just seemed to change. Josh Allen had nothing down the field until he did. And then obviously the Derrick Henry fumble that really turned this game on a dime, that allowed the Bills to get back into it. Zim, what were you thinking watching this? I know you walked away and walked back and you couldn't believe what you had saw when you walked back. Talk to me about your big takeaways from Sunday Night Football, Bills Ravens.
I have a lot. I'm going to condense everything I can into as little as possible. What I will say this, everybody that keeps on talking about we beat ourselves, I think, to me, in my opinion, is the stupidest phrase I've ever heard in football or in sports. We beat ourselves is an excuse for I don't respect the person that I'm playing. And my biggest takeaway from that game, Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver, Ed Oliver, Ed Oliver, Ed Oliver, Ed Oliver. We haven't seen someone from the interior in the new NFL where the interior pressure is everything, more so than than edge pressure. I thought Ed Oliver throughout the game was dangerous, but the tackle for the loss in the backfield on Henry, the fumble force, the pressure he put on Lamar, like everything that Ed Oliver did in that game, I don't think the national pundits and people are talking about that. I haven't seen someone in the interior take over a game like that since Aaron Donald. Seriously. And I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but Ed Oliver is a guy that I remember I wanted to draft. He's had, some ups and downs, maybe whatever. I know he just got the contract this past year or last year or whatever. But Ed Oliver was the one. And that's the dangers to me when people come up with excuses. I've heard injuries from that team. I've heard it's weak. I heard it's all of these different things. But I always hear them say, we beat ourselves. But if you think that Ed Oliver didn't take over that game, then you need to go watch the All 22 and rewatch that game. And to me, if a team has an Ed Oliver and they could pair that up, if I had an Ed Oliver and I could pair that up with a Trey Hendrickson or something like that, I would come on the show and be like, yeah, I'm winning the Super Bowl. That's how dominant I thought he was in that game. And I thought that there's only a couple of teams that probably could give them problems. I need to apologize to Bills Mafia. I also need to tell people, or I need to come on a show and predict that the Ravens are going to win every single week if I get those same results. Because I came on here, I stood out here on the line on a team I hate more than anything in life, and I said that the Bills don't have a chance. The Bills call them at the wrong time. Here comes the Ravens, the all-star team. Sam was telling us that there was very few games that he could see them losing throughout the whole season. He didn't even see them possibly, I don't know. We're not going to go into that receipt. What I will say is that when it comes to seeding and all the BS that I heard last year from another team in Ohio, Cincinnati, the week 1 game impacted my season, and it cost me to not even make the playoffs. Those small little details that seem like nothing, like a week 1 loss, will come back to bite you in your ass. It might be seeding. It might be, in my case, not making it, but a week 1 loss is nothing to like whatever. I thought that was a statement thing. I don't think it has any impact on the Ravens having success. I still think that they probably go head to head with, at the end of the season, and they're probably one of the teams we're talking about winning the AFC North. I still think that they have the best roster, but it goes to show you that football is not played on paper. There are not that many position groups that I really feel confident in the Bills. I thought Keon Coleman had his way throughout on Malachi Starks. I was very critical on their wide receivers. I think Josh Allen's really good. I just thought that the Ravens, where was the Ravens pass rush? All off season, I heard about the rookie, Mike Green and all that stuff. Where was he at? Matabuke's of the world and stuff like that. I know didn't he have a sack in the game?
Yeah,
he was one sack.
Top
yeah, one right
pass rush. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he did show up, but Mike Green, I didn't see him, and to me, that was one thing that stood out. I thought Wiggins was picked on a couple of different times. Everybody's talking about Jair. How about Wiggins gave up 6 for 7 receptions? Jair gave up whatever he gave up, 80-something. You know who else got picked on? Roquan Smith, 5 for 5, gave up a touchdown and 100% completion rate on Roquan. They're now calling him Rokon. Have you heard this? This is Rokon, because every single year they're telling us that this dude is the reincarnation of Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis ain't coming out that tunnel, and that fat crab cake eating motherfucker is not Ray Lewis. All right, so I'm just gonna put that out there. All respect to his tackling, he can't cover, and that's all I got.
You can't win anything in September. You can lose it, as Zim mentioned, and this could very well have seeding implications when it's all said and done. You also touched on Ed Oliver. He was certainly the MVP for Buffalo outside of Josh Allen. Big in the Bills being able to get this one done. Mark, what did you think about what you saw in this absolute showdown between Lamar and Josh Allen?
First of all, I thought it was a great game. I was down the pub having a few sneaky sherbets, few beers, eating a burger, and I thought it was great. I thought the game was over, 40-25 or whatnot, and I thought, okay, the Ravens going to get away with one. They're going to go 1-0. The Ravens are a super talented team. They are dead set Super Bowl chances. They are AFC North chances, but they seem to do this all the time. And I think Sam might be able to remind us what the exact stat is, but there's like 14, 15 games where they've been leading by 14 or 15 points and they lose, right? And also there's a good stat out there as well. Teams with 40 plus points, 235 yards, or a lot of yards, are 277-0, including playoffs. And now the Ravens make it 277-1. So the Bills come back. It was a crazy, insane game. By the way, the pass that I couldn't fucking believe was that touchdown throw to the end zone where the first Bills player missed it, did a volleyball spike, and then in the guy in the end zone picked it up. I thought that was insane. I don't know if that was on 4th down or 3rd down or whatever that was, but if that didn't happen, that to me, that doesn't happen. Like if you're a Ravens fan, you're thinking, how the French choice that happened, right? Like it came off his hands and then back to the guy in the end zone, and they called a TD. That doesn't happen. So the Ravens played really well. Derrick Henry is so awesome to watch, even though he's a Raven now. I've always liked Derrick Henry for a long time. He got like $1 something. The Ravens are on fire that way. It was 2 heavyweights going. Like I said before, it wouldn't matter too much who wins 0-1 or 1-0, but Ravens could potentially go 0-2 against the Eagles this week now too. The Bills now set themselves up for the division. There's one last note I want to make though. It's interesting because Josh Allen goes out there and saves today, run 2 TDs, they pass 2 TDs, right? And then no one really talks about the Bills losing 40 points on their defense. You know, that's interesting to me that like Lamar Jackson, the Ravens kill them 40-something to whatever, and they come back to win. And then Josh Allen is the hero, and the defense in the background's going, thanks, Josh. We appreciate you, because no one's talking about how much heat they should be getting. But overall, great game, awesome game. Ravens, I guess, got to figure out how to close because they're unstoppable. They're Lamar Jackson on fire right now. Derrick Henry, you need 2 people to tackle him one of the legs and high. You can't stop them. That fumble was costly. Went down the field. And they end up winning. And by the way, all the Bills fans are going to bed. Ravens fans are going to bed. Next minute, they wake up winning 41-40.
Well, Mark, I can assure you that the woes of the defense in that game for Buffalo did not go unnoticed. And if one of those insane things that happened in the game went the other way and the Bills lose it, that's all anybody would be talking about. They did allow 40 points to the Baltimore Ravens. What's odd about this game, Bills number 1 in scoring in the NFL through week 1, Ravens number 2, both teams 31st and 32nd in points allowed. It's just a crazy, crazy game. But you mentioned it, that tip ball, Keon Coleman catches it. The Ravens miss an extra point that could have really been a dagger. They down that punt on the inch line. If they don't touch it, the Bills probably start at the inch line. There was a million things. And I bring all that up cue Sam in here, because what was it to you, Sam? I mean, this has to be beyond frustrating. This game was over for 2.5 hours until it wasn't. And then next thing you know, you're sitting there after the game thinking to yourself, what the hell just happened? And as you have said to your channel and your followers, this is nothing new under John Harbaugh. What is the issue here? What has to change? And what did you see on Sunday that's reminiscent of what you've seen in the past?
Well, I'll first start off by saying shout outs to the Bills team. That's a team right there. I think Josh Allen, I talked about it on the show last week. If there's one quarterback that can do it, there's 5 quarterbacks in the league that can do it. Josh Allen's one of those guys that will totally change the game no matter how the offense is, no matter what the defense looks like. He's that guy for sure. So shout outs to Josh Allen. He looks spectacular. But I have to look at this from 2 points of view. There's the silo, meaning the week 1 matchup, and there's the over-encompassing, arch of what this season is going to bring for both teams. On the silo, I say, yeah, hell of a game. Great job. I don't think that either team should be too concerned about the defense moving forward because, again, these are 2 top-tier quarterbacks going at it. There's a lot of guessing going on throughout the contest about how these both teams are going to attack the defense, attack the opposing quarterback. So, end of story, I don't think there's going to be too much moving on towards the end of the season with these 2 teams and the defenses. I think they're just, it was just a great game. But the Ravens... The Ravens are ridiculous. I mean, it was 17 double-digit second-half leads the Ravens have had throughout John Harbaugh's tenure, and he has found a way to lose 17 games in his tenure as their head coach, which is ridiculous. And again, I'm a Harbaugh guy. I like Harbaugh, but these are one of the games. I'm not worried about week 1. I'm not worried about week 17. The Ravens are going to make the postseason. The Ravens are going to be one of the top 4 teams in the conference for sure, regardless. But when they get to the postseason, it's games like this that are going to show their head. Am I confident the Ravens are going to go to Buffalo and beat the Bills in the playoffs in a situation that we're up by 3 scores? No, because the Ravens are going to find a way to lose those games with John Harbaugh as the head coach and Zachary Orr as the defense coordinator. These are the type of games that the Ravens lose day in, day out, year in and year out. So if you're a Ravens fan, be concerned until they show you. There's only 2 games on the schedule where you can see some type of faith for this team doing anything in the postseason. The first one just passed, and we failed that test. The next one is that week 4 matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. If they can't find a way to win those games and win it definitively, being up 40-25, then I don't care what we do. We can go 16-2 the rest of the way. We can smash every single person in this division, and I will be confident in saying the Ravens will find a way to lose in the postseason. So the Ravens have to look at themselves in the mirror with this win. With this loss, they have to look at themselves in the mirror. The coaching staff has to look at themselves in the mirror and stop with as Zim mentioned, the Ravens beat themselves. No, the Bills beat you. The Bills beat you. And the reason why they beat you is because you're undisciplined. It's because you don't know how to play football when it matters most in crunch time, and you choke in the biggest moments. That's what the Ravens' MO is. It's not anything but that. So I think the Ravens are going to have to find a way to win. They're going to get real confident. They beat the Browns, I'm sure, in week 2. Maybe they'll beat the Lions, an NFC team, in week 3. What do you do? We beat them by 27, and then they'll fall short in week 4. Another thing to note, even though I did mention that the Ravens' defense is going to be, I think they'll be okay, but they're playing defense against the Bills the same way they play defense against the Bengals. And I was very confident entering the season that the Jair Alexanders, the Malachi Starks of the world coming in, and the Mike Greens coming in will find a way to dissipate whatever it is that the Bengals have planned. I'm nervous now for that Bengals game because if they play defense, and this is not just player, this is schematically coaching speaking, the way you line up and play these top-tier quarterbacks is indicative of a team that's scared. You're afraid of Josh Allen. You're afraid of Patrick Mahomes. You're afraid of Joe Burrow. And if you're afraid of them and you're fearing that they're going to beat you, they're going to beat you. Josh Allen beat you. Patrick Mahomes might beat you, and Joe Burrow might beat you if you play defense like that. Don't play scared. Play football. That's all I got.
Hey, before we go on, Sam, you said we got to take a look in the mirror. Funny enough, 30-year anniversary. You guys are the Browns. I mean, take a look in the mirror, buddy.
Sam, you'd say that they were scared of Josh Allen. I think many Bills fans are scared every time Lamar and Derrick Henry take the field. This is why this decision to me makes no sense. It's 4th and 3. The Ravens are averaging over 8 yards per attempt on the ground and 9 yards per attempt through the air. You can't find many situations throughout league history where a team is dominating on offense the way the Ravens were. Very vanilla play calling on this drive that could have ended the football game. Yet 2 runs that go next to nowhere, forcing Lamar Jackson to have to throw before the sticks. It's 4th and 3. They don't go for it. That's what results in the punt that if it wasn't touched, I really do think that stays still right within the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
I know this is a hot topic here, but your thoughts on not going for it there, because from my perspective as a Bills fan, when I saw John Harbaugh trot the punter out, I literally let out an audible sigh of relief. Thank God they're not going for it. And to me, that tells me they're making the wrong decision.
Well, yeah, it's the dumbest call I've seen in quite some time. I remember when I guess Bill Belichick decided to go for it on 4th down with Tom Brady, even though his defense was playing very good. He was too confident. This was not that situation. The Ravens had given up 38 points already to that point, given up God knows how many points in the 4th quarter. You have your top-tier MVP quarterback, and you decide to 4th and 3. I trust the defense to make a stop, even though they haven't shown any semblance of doing that all day. It was one of those dumb decisions that we talk about John Harbaugh making. Yeah, we're going to go for it on 4th and 1 on certain instances throughout the season, but when it's 4th and 3, you know that your quarterback hasn't been stopped all day. You know Derrick Henry hasn't been stopped all day. You punt the ball off and expect that for some reason Nate Wiggins, who's been 6 for 7, or Jay Alexander, who's given up 2 touchdown bombs, will do anything different because there's 2 minutes left in the game. It was utterly ridiculous. But again, in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't mean much because we know the Bills are going to get the 1 seed anyway. And we talked about it last week that it doesn't really matter seeding-wise, but this is mentally going to be taxing for this team. And we've seen this last year with the Ravens losing to the Chiefs and the letdown that happened against the Raiders the following week. So let's not say that this Browns-Ravens game is a lock for the Ravens because that's not really the case. The Ravens can for sure be mentally inequipped to handle this game. With the Browns team coming in, feeling like they're a little bit, taking a shot at with this 30th anniversary thing. So interesting.
Hey Zebo, I got a question for you, mate. Were you nervous with that kick near the end to win the game? Because did you have a timeout or not? I can't remember.
No, that was a textbook fire drill timeout. They ran 3 consecutive QB kneels to make the Ravens use all 3 timeouts. What was nuts to me, Mark, is they waited until the 3-second mark to snap it. And a point that was made to me that I wasn't thinking at the time. If there was a false start, if there was an illegal motion, if there was a hold, the game is over. And the Bills, not all that long ago, lost to the Denver Broncos when the Denver Broncos missed a game-winning field goal because they had too many men on the field. So it's not like it would be some crazy thing. It's happened before. And Kyle Hamilton, I think he actually touched it, Sam.
He touched it.
I think he did.
Touched it.
I mean,
so why would they wait all that way just because to bleed the clock so that Lamar Jackson has no time?
That's the respect they have for Lamar. When you lose in 13 seconds to Patrick Mahomes, you don't want to give Lamar Jackson 3 seconds. I mean, that's where they've been.
I was watching live and thinking, well, are they going to kick this or what's going on? And then they rushed it.
Well, Sam, the silver lining here, those aforementioned Kansas City Chiefs, they lost. They didn't lose a single one-score game all year last year, and they look bad. So that could be a sigh of relief for all of us within here. Speaking of those Ravens, they play the Browns, and I know one person that doesn't think it's a lock for the Ravens. It's Zay. We're going to get to our Week 2 predictions in just a second, but before we do, we got to make our sleeper picks. We got to head on over to Sleeper and take a look at the slate for this upcoming week. We'll run through each of the games in the AFC North, and we'll have each rep give us a pick that they think. I always do the wrong one, by the way. Why do I keep doing this? There we go. I got my little phone there. I want to get up there. We're going to go through each game, a pick that everybody in here thinks would be good on their side. We'll start, of course, in that Cleveland-Baltimore game this upcoming Sunday. Can't wait for it. Zay, I'll start with you. I'm thinking Flacco over more than 230.5. That's got to be your play.
Easiest lock you can ever imagine, buddy.
He doesn't even need to say any more than that. He already knows it's the coming home party for Joey Flacco. More than 230.5. Sam, I don't know whether the Ravens are going to be fired up after this, demoralized. With that in mind, and the way you see this kind of going, what do you think is a solid play on the Baltimore side of things?
Ooh, is there like a sack thing going on over here?
Sure, yeah. Let's take a peek at there's got to be something. Not seeing
looking like it.
I'm not seeing any D up. It might be maybe all. Yeah, let's see. I think they add more later in the week, so not right now. No sack thing, just offense as of right now.
All right, well, give me I like Mark Andrews for a touchdown.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
He always scores on us.
He always scores on the Browns. Yeah, sorry.
Usually before halftime too.
Yeah.
Well, weirdly enough, I'm not seeing anything on Mark Andrews on here. That might be because of potentially coming back. Maybe that's why they don't have him on the board.
Nah, he's not playing. He's
not playing
this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe back this week or the week after.
Well, what about Derrick Henry? More or less 94.5. What do you think there? You think another great day like last week, or is he going less?
I don't know, man. That's the one that makes me nervous because again, Myles Garrett probably saw what the Bills did at Oliver and Joey Bosa did to our interior, and he might. I'll go under. I'll go under 94. I think he'll still get a touchdown, but I think that Browns defense is going to really put the ball in the hands of Lamar.
All right, we got Flacco more than 230.5. We got Derrick Henry less than 94.5. Let's go to Jacksonville taking on the Bengals. Zim, I got a feeling you're thinking this is where that offense we've come to know and love from Cincinnati steps up, and we see what we're accustomed to as opposed to last week. With that in mind, any picks on your end that you think we should be looking out for?
I was gonna go Jacksonville's end. Ooh. I feel like their Josh Allen and their edge guy, I think, are going to affect the game too. I thought that Trey Hendrickson took that's what I guess Sam was probably looking for sack numbers. I was going to say DeJuan Jones is food or whatever bro name is. Ain't his name DeJuan Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's food. So like you're going that's what a sack. So I feel like on our end, on this game too though, I could see them getting like 2 sacks on us. I do think that Jamar Chase, like what's his props? What's his multi?
Jamar Chase, more or less 84.5.
What about catches? Because they're going to give him some targets after that.
Let's see. Where we got?
And just so everyone knows, the Jags play zone. They do not play man.
I'm not seeing receptions. I'm just seeing yards for right now.
What's Burrow's over-under touchdowns? That's an easy 2, no?
We're doing this early in the week, so I don't think they have everything up, but his yards is at 275.5.
That's high, though.
That is high. That is really
high. Like I would have gave you 240 or something like that. I'll give Jamar Chase like over 6-7 reception wise. They're going to target him. They're going to look at the film from last week. All those opportunities that Joe didn't throw to him in week 1, they're throwing at. He's going to get the targets. They also said Travis Hunter is going to play on defense a lot more in this game. That is not a strategy I would go up against T. Higgins or Jamar Chase.
T. Higgins is at 65.5, Zim.
I like that. I like that a little bit more.
Okay.
I like that one.
Let's lock that in. More T. Higgins, 65.5. Then Mark, we'll swing it over to you. This is not an easy game. I mean, we saw the Seahawks go toe-to-toe with the Niners in a game that they probably should have won if Sam Darnold didn't fumble at the end. But we saw that offense for those Steelers humming this past weekend. Do you expect it again this week? What do you think looks good on your end here?
I'd go. Is there a pass TDs for Rodgers? Over 2.
Let's see. The TD. Oh yeah, pass TDs 1.5 for Rodgers.
Yeah, I go over 2. Rodgers can break Brett Favre's record this weekend if he gets. I believe it is. He's on 507. If he gets 2, he's 509. The NFL loves that kind of shit, and they'll definitely make it happen. So there'll be flags coming out next week. His Patriots in their stadium.
Okay.
So he'll throw over 2, and I think it's DK Metcalf as well. If I'm building a multi, I'll put him and Rodgers and Metcalf together. Over yards for Metcalf, and Rodgers goes 2. And also, I got to go back and watch the other episode because I was right on the Boswell thing. I don't know if you guys were right last week with your
nailed
picks.
You nailed it on the Boswell. And I think it's a good point you make. DK Metcalf being on the receiving end of history for Aaron Rodgers against his former team. Like you said, that's storybook. The NFL loves that. So maybe that's what we see. Here is the slip we built. We have Joe Flacco more than 230.5. We have Derrick Henry less than 94.5. T. Higgins more than 65.5. And Aaron Rodgers more than a touchdown and a half. The multiplier on that 13.3, $100 wins you over 1,300 on that one. Over in the picks feature on the Sleeper app. Sleeper, of course, the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world. Over 6 million users in 2023. And with as great of a fantasy platform and real money gaming platform as they have, it's no secret as to why. Get in on this slip and, of course, create your very own via the link in the description below. Also, use the promo code, of course, RTS. Use the promo code RTS, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper in the link in the description below. All right. So we have recapped in depth a wild week 1 in the AFC North. And now it's time to turn the page to what will hopefully be a week 2 that lives up to as great of a week 1 as we just witnessed. We have another divisional battle. Let's start there. It's the Cleveland Browns on the road against the Baltimore Ravens, both coming off a loss, both looking to get their first win of the season. And it is Joe Flacco returning home. This is going to be a fun one. As always, let's start with the fellas that aren't involved in this game. Let's start with Mark. What do you think? Who gets it done here, the Browns or the Ravens?
You'd have to think the Ravens have the advantage by being at home, and also there has to be a lead. That last loss has to leave a salty taste in their mouth to be like. I don't see the Ravens going 0-2 with John Harbaugh. That would be crazy. You know, it happened I think last year as well. But but I think the Ravens are the better team. Browns having back-to-back divisional matchups. Who wrote the schedule for that? That's freaking awesome. But I think overall the Ravens can take this game and play at home and play strong because Lamar Jackson, I don't think going to make too many errors, and nor would Derrick Henry. They did awesome last week. The whole game was awesome until they laid down a little bit and let the Bills win. So I've got the Ravens, to be honest.
All right, so Mark's got the Ravens improving to 1-1. The Browns falling to 0-2. Zim, you on the same wavelength as Mark here, or do the Browns find a way to not be on the wrong end of a 1-point differential here? Do they get it done against the Ravens? Jeez,
rooting for the Browns heavy. Just don't think that they can do it. All they have to do is watch the check down merchant Joe Flacco himself check the ball down against the Cincinnati Bengals this past week for 280 yards or whatever that was. Check. Keep everything in front of you. They're not going to be able to run on them. I don't know if Judkins plays or whatever. Relying on a rookie to be the saving grace of all of that, I think is kind of crazy in itself. I don't think Myles Garrett will affect the game like he did against the Bengals. Myles Garrett is Joe Burrow's kryptonite. I just don't see that happening. They don't have enough firepower, in my opinion, to keep up with the Ravens. The Joe Flacco 280 yards or whatever it was is fool's gold. Sampson is a great catcher out the backfield, but I just don't think that if they were to get into a 20-point, whatever, anything, anytime that Flacco had to push the ball beyond 10, 15 yards, you saw the 2 interceptions. They're not going to be able to do that on the Ravens at all. It'll be more interceptions. The one thing I do worry about is the Ravens' pressure, but I do think that the Ravens win this game by 7 points, not 10, not 3, but 7 points. So 27-20, maybe something a little nasty like that. If you're a Ravens fan, you're probably upset that the Browns scored 20.
All right, it's time to get the thoughts from Zay and Sam on the battle of Zay and Sam. Zay, I'll start with you here on this one because it is your quarterback's coming home party. He's heading to Baltimore, amped up, looking to get the W. Does he get that W? You predicted a 2-0 start, a legendary start for Flacco. Was a point shy towards getting that first win, but is he going to get it done in week 2?
It's funny, ironically, I would just want to touch on what Zim had said real quick. He said the check down merchant when Burrow was the only quarterback to not throw past the 15 yards that he mentioned, and also relying on a rookie. You guys got rid of your guy, Joe Mixon, and brought in a rookie, Chase. Never mind. Either way,
that was 3 years ago.
The Browns are going to go ahead and win this game. What are we talking about? The disrespect that the Ravens are displaying right now. It's just going to be all the better when they show Joe Flacco hold up that trophy on that screen, and then they pan over to the camera and see Joe with that big old smile on his face. And then at the end of the game, they're going to have Aditi Kikabala interviewing him all tall with that same old look on his face that they showed earlier when he was holding the trophy about how special it is and all of this good stuff. So I'm excited for the game. However, it would have been nice had the Ravens not had this sour taste in their mouths. Usually when the Ravens lose games in that type of fashion, the next one usually isn't pretty. But I'm confident in our defense. Our playmakers on offense weren't even the big focal point this past game. And I expect Joe Flacco to remind people what it was before he got replaced by Lamar Jackson. So I'm hoping for let's say 23-20, and we get the game winning kick this week with Schmidt and then we'll be, hooray and haran.
Ooh, a little redemption for Schmidt and a happy Joe Flacco in the reunion. Sam, I don't know if the Boo Birds are going to be flying down on Flacco or it'll be a warm welcome, but either way, I know you, all of Ravens fans, and of course the Ravens themselves are looking to spoil that homecoming. Do they? Do they get the victory in the division over the Browns?
We love Joe Flacco over here in Baltimore. We owe Joe Flacco a lot. So a lot of Ravens fans are excited to see him, honestly. I know this is like a rivalry game to some, but for Ravens fans, we really just want to see Joe Flacco in Baltimore one more time. And we hope that he doesn't take this butt whooping personal because it will be a blowout. I am not convinced about what the Browns have in store. I am sorry, buddy. Those tackles looked really bad against the Bengals. I think that a lot of people are pointing to the pass rush of the Ravens. They don't realize the first, I guess, quarter, the Ravens were really going after and trying to get to Josh Allen, but the Ravens were concerned about the rushing lanes as well as the passing lanes. So Mike Green actually got chewed out of it a bit because he over pursued a little bit. That won't be the case with Joe Flacco. He's a statue down there. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. The Browns need to protect Joe Flacco. I don't see them doing it. It's going to be, I'm going to say 35-3 win for the Baltimore Ravens. It's looking a little bad. I'm sorry, Zay. Just keeping it in the buck.
Can we bet dinner that don't happen or something? Like, you got me all the way bet. That is nowhere near happening.
It's going to be at least a 3-touchdown win, I think. But yeah, we could do dinner.
Yeah, we're going to have to bet dinner.
Yeah, we'll see how good that.
You know that is the highest spread.
Do you live in Baltimore?
I don't live in Baltimore. I won't be in Baltimore for that game.
Damn,
are you going to be in Baltimore?
I was thinking about driving up for the pregame and tailgate stuff and getting some content.
I'll fly down if you go. For real.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
did you know the Ravens had the highest state?
Oh crap! I can't. Wait a minute. It's my son's birthday on Sunday. I can't go. Okay. I
thought you were going to say the private jet was out of fuel and you couldn't.
No.
Maybe next time.
I'll fly down. It's crazy.
I love that. Hey, going to be a great battle. Can't wait to recap it next week on the show, but it's the reunion for Joe Flacco. We have 3 predictions that are going in the favor of his former team, the Ravens. Zay stands alone thinking his Browns get it done. Let's turn the page. 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon. It's a cat fight at Paycor. The Jaguars and the Bengals, both 1-0. The Jags beat up on the Carolina Panthers. They really took it to them. You would have thought that game would have been maybe a bit more even, but it wasn't. The Panthers looked atrocious. The Bengals get it done by 1 point, as we recapped on the show, despite the offense of the Bengals not being what we're accustomed to seeing. Regardless, they get it done. One of these teams improves to 2-0. One falls to 1-1. Who will it be, Mark? It's Bengals. It's Jags. Who takes it?
Yeah, you'd have to think at home Bengals probably have the better go here. The offense does turn around and then scores more than 16. I don't see Jaguars doing too much, to be honest. To be short and sweet, the Bengals are going to win this one, and they're at home. They'll go 2-0, and then we'll get Zim being even more crazier and crazier as the season goes on. I can't wait for that. Bengals win 31-20 or something like that.
Mark, I can't wait either.
Yeah, I know you can't wait.
Mark's got the offense back dialed in for the Bengals in this one.
They'll kill it.
Sam, you thinking the same? You thinking the Bengals are crushing the Jags here?
Yeah, Zim's going to be unbearable next week. I think that the Bengals are going to destroy the Jaguars. I think the Bengals are going to be upset about it. I know Joe Burrow's upset about what happened last week. He wants to put some points on the board. I don't see it happening for the Jags. Give me the Bengals winning pretty big here. Give it about 14-point win.
Zay. One question, Z-Bot, before you get to Zay. Do you guys think Travis Hunter will play cornerback this game? Will they change him?
His coach said that he's going to play a lot more.
I was thinking about that. So, because you guys got the big offense, right, that don't really need him on offense, I'll play him cornerback. I think it's a smart move they do.
Zay, I know you think your Browns should have had these Bengals. Will the Jags have them this upcoming week in Cincinnati?
If only the Jags were at home, I feel like it would be a different story, but kind of similar to what the Ravens are, man. Joe Burrow, one of them dudes where it's like, ooh, I threw for 113. All right, well, I'm going to throw for 413 just to show y'all that last week wasn't what it was. And the Jaguars aren't a fraction of the Browns defense. So, unfortunately, yeah, Zim's probably gonna be unbearable. Zim, I know you got the stat on it. When's the last time y'all went 2-0? Because I imagine that's gonna be part of your arsenal next week.
I'm not sure. Zach Taylor is never won a week 2 game in his whole entire tenure as a Bengals coach.
Okay, I'm taking the Jaguars. We're gonna continue. We gonna continue the trend then. With him not getting one, Joe Burrow's still gonna go fantastic, but somehow, some way, Zach Taylor's not gonna get it. Thank you for that stat, Zim. I appreciate you.
No problem.
Zay with the upset, taking the Jags, making sure Zach Taylor never gets a week 2 W. Someone who's in agreement with you there, Zay. It's Whip Hero. Jags are beating the Bengals by 10. Y'all D tissue paper, despite what they did last week. Despite a great defensive effort. No respect yet, Zim. Will we get some more
start
respect?
Him again. Let him go.
Why y'all think I'm so unbearable? See, look, what happens is the energy that gets sent my way, I just return it. That's all it is.
Favor.
I just return it.
Energy for my dog Zim.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we got a show.
Only for my dog.
Why does Z zoom in? That's crazy.
Hey, dog, Z-Bot with the zoom in is
letting that flow.
My dog, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, man.
That's why he's the bigger man, Johnny, on the spot.
There he is. That's AFC North football right there. There he is, a man of his word.
Speaking of AFC North football, the AFC North Cincinnati Bengals getting it done against the Jags?
Yeah, I do, but it's a lot closer than what I think. Joe Burrow starts off every single season very, very. I don't get it. Like I rewatched the game, all 22, and a condensed version as well too. Guys running all over the field. I think that he's scared of Myles Garrett. That's one thing I will say. That's why I don't look at TJ Watt the same as I do Myles Garrett. Joe Burrow is afraid of that dude, bro. Like guys are running open. He does not throw the ball. The last time he played the Jags, it started off rough. Like, as I mentioned, they play a lot of zone coverage. You cannot do that against the Bengals. That is the one thing I think is in our favor. This past week, Etienne ran for like 150. Bryce Young is a bum too. So there was a lot of different things. I think the Bengals are going to be a lot better against the run defense. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a better game. Brian Thomas is going to score too. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be another close game. It's going to be another Joe Burrow not throwing for what I think he is until later in the season. So I got the Bengals another 20. Let's go 22-19.
Ooh, we got a barn burner. Zim's predicting a low-scoring, close game, but the Bengals get it done, improve to 2-0. Zach Taylor loves the sound of that, getting his first win in week 2. All right, we stay in the 1 p.m. window to cap things off here. An old-school AFC rivalry. Grew up on this one. This was a great watch all throughout the years. Tom Brady going head-to-head with Ben Roethlisberger. This time around, it's Drake May going head-to-head with Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers on the road taking on New England. New England lost.
Wrong week.
Am I on the wrong
Yeah, they're
week?
playing the Seahawks.
Oh, you're right. Why am I looking
Yeah, already got the W 2-0.
Hey,
I was about to say, what?
Yes, sir.
giving you a preview of next week. I was like very excited about that
AFC
too.
North.
Yeah, what the hell? We already talked about this earlier. We talked about the DK Metcalf situation, so I apologize. Let's pivot and talk about the actual game the Steelers are playing this week at home in Pittsburgh, and it is going to be DK Metcalf taking on his former team. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers taking on an old rival of his when he was in Green Bay. This should be a hell of a game. Looking at Seattle's defense last week, they looked really good against the Niners. You could argue they could have won that game in several different ways. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh, their defense wasn't exactly what we thought it would be, but didn't matter because Aaron Rodgers showed up and showed out 4 touchdowns. And you know he's going to want to get DK Metcalf involved in this one. And as Mark alluded to earlier, some history on the line as well. Could surpass Brett Favre in this game with touchdown passes. Zay, I'll kick it off with you here first. Steelers, Seahawks. Do the Steelers go 2-0? Do the Hawks go 0-2? Or does Seattle get their first win of the season?
I'm nervous a little bit just because I don't want Aaron Rodgers to get this groove. And then you talk about Mark saying he could pass who? Brett Favre for all-time touchdowns or something like that?
Yep, needs to.
Damn. Yeah, man. I think the Steelers are gonna come away with this one. I'm gonna go close though, like 17-10.
Ooh, so you got a low-scoring game. I'm guessing the 17 that you have predicted there You're gonna. I'm guessing you're thinking Aaron Rodgers scores 2 touchdowns. He gets that record.
Yeah, he's got to get the record.
All right. So you got a 17-14 victory for Pittsburgh, close one, and I think it's an accurate prediction based on what we saw from that defense last week. That was basically the final score of that Niners-Seahawks game, so it could be another outcome like that again this week. Sam, what do you think? Steelers-Seahawks in Pittsburgh.
I was close to picking the Seahawks to win this game. The reason why I'm not is because I don't trust Sam Darnold when he's going up against TJ Watt. Very similar to how Zim feels about Joe Burrow against Myles Garrett. I think TJ Watt may be the difference in this game. Hopefully Mike McDonald has something planned for DK Metcalf, because I love what I saw from DK Metcalf in that game. Is he like a top tier, wide receiver in any stretch? But once he got the ball in his hands, that boy is scary. So I think that it's going to be very much one of those games where DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers are going to have to get a rapport, but I don't trust Sam Darnold to play with pressure in his face, and I think that's what's going to happen in this game. Give me the Steelers winning this one 21-13.
2 for 2 on the Steelers. Zim, you making it 3 for 3?
No, sir. I'm going Seahawks on this one.
Tell me why.
For sure. I just think defensively that McDonald, like Ravens fans can attest to this, that Mike McDonald defense is going to be different. I don't Aaron Rodgers being sacked 4 times last week. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think. I think when he sees real defenses on a week-to-week basis, it's going to be some challenges. I thought he did really good for week 1 to kind of get out of adversity and make some plays. You see like the little, plays here and there. But I just think Seahawks their defense is going to give him a hard time. I do think he hits the multi, like I think, what was it, 1.5? I do think he has the 2 touchdowns, but I think the difference is he has 2 picks this week.
Ooh, so 2 for 2. We got 2 touchdowns for Rodgers, but 2 picks. Seattle's defense gets it done according to Zim. Mark, according to you, are your Steelers going 2-0, or are they dropping this one at home?
Yeah, we got a good chance. I think as well, last week versus the Jets, Rodgers could have thrown 2 picks too. There was definitely a chance that the Jets dropped the ball. Our defense needs to shore itself up, cannot allow 32 points. Our D-line needs to get better. All Steelers fans know that from our D-line, the Cameron Haywood and those guys, Benton. Derek Harmon is out. Deshaun Elliott is out. So definitely need to shore that up. And they cannot allow Sam Darnold, seeing ghost, going down the field. And he's a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. Going down the field and getting 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns to win the game. Our defense has to be better. There won't be, I don't think, any RPO action or any mobile quarterback with Sam Darnold. So at home, the Steelers, I think, have the advantage. They should win this. Seahawks going to be a tough game. Can't be going to be piss easy and let them in and win, or think we're going to win like last week I did with the Jets. But Steelers, if they can run the ball effectively, which they didn't do as well. Rodgers, I think he's going to start to get a bit of a groove and find DK Metcalf. 2 TDs as well. I think the Steelers can win this. Probably more realistic this week. I'll say 24-18, the Steelers win. Some weird score like that.
24-18, a win's a win, Mark. 24 points for the Steelers after putting up 34 last week. You have them getting it done. You have them improving to 2-0. We can't wait to recap it, and that's what we'll do this time next week, right where you're at here on the AFC North Roundtable. Make sure to join us to recap all the games we just predicted. But for tonight, that's going to do it. Week 2 predictions locked in, week 1 recapped, and we look forward to joining you again next week to talk all about what goes down this upcoming week. Zim, what do you got for me?
This was just a picture of Zay after the game. I actually made it my background. Is it over here? I had it as my background. This is my background now on my phone. As you can see, that's a Bengals guy right there, and then that's Zay. Because don't let him fool you, telling you that he feels good about the game. He didn't feel good after the game this past week. So there we go. There we go.
I think that what's your buddy behind you? His name Zay, the ref. What's his name? Where is he?
His name is Zim. He had a Bengals shirt on, and I was standing right there with you, Zay. We had a good time.
It's crazy because you don't say nothing the whole chat. You gonna wait until the end of the game. You could at least say what's up. You could at least show some love.
He's hiding in the weeds.
It gets worse. The more the Bengals win, the worse it gets every week.
It will get worse for you, Mark, if you play with me. If you play around here, we're gonna bring you around.
Bengals, man. I can't stand them.
I know you do. That's what this show. That's what I'm here for. I grew up my whole childhood hating Steelers. I don't like your bumper stickers on your car. I feel like you guys cut me off on the road. You bums are all over the United States, and nobody's ever even been to Pennsylvania. Steelers and Cowboys are a virus. They are all over the world, and I don't like you either. And this is what this show is for, so you can see my ugly ass here every Wednesday, and you can remember how much you hate the Bengals. That's what I'm here for, Mark.
Well, make sure to tune in and see all of our ugly asses next Wednesday. We'll recap week 2, and maybe it will get worse. Maybe we'll see an even more fired up Zim if they finally get that second win under Zach Taylor. We can't wait to see you next Wednesday. But until then, that's going to do it for tonight. For Zay, for Zim, Mark, Sam, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning into the AFC North Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.